volans, being very mysterious.
Glaucomus volans, is that
White,
eyes too?
white mouse that flies.
What?
Does anybody know what it is? You should know. We're here in the wolf cabin, and we might give you a special viewing of our family that are watching the show too.
Yeah, they have their own little watch party at the edge of the pond.
Hope you are too.
Yeah.
So they would love this animal if they could catch it, but it's up in the trees and it comes out at night. That's the word nocturnal.
Yeah, so we give you guys a close-up look.
Oh, reveal party. It's the flying squirrel, and more particularly, the southern flying squirrel.
And these guys are super, super adorable because they have all the things that humans love for an animal to have. They love that they have big human-like eyes. They love that they are covered in fur and look cuddly. And they love that they're kind of small and mousy-like. Those are all things that we think, oh, that's a really cute little guy. And they're in their little bedding right now, so we're sorry if you can't get a good view of them, but they'll pop their head out. They're just using that as shelter.
So Lucy and Bella are watching. Hi, Lucy and Bella, and we know that you are regulars with our pack here. So in a second, we're going to give you a view of the watch party going on out in the exhibit. So, Maddie, why don't you give them a little view of who's watching FOOVentures with you, live from the wolf exhibit. There we go, Lucy and Bella. Hi, Abby. Thanks again. You guys are the best, the most
You guys
regulars.
always tuning in.
We love it.
So great.
Yeah, so the wolves are super curious, and they would love to hang out with a flying squirrel. Look at, they're all hanging out in the shade and taking a rest. It's a hot day today. They're doing a good job chilling out.
Yeah, these guys that we're talking about today, the flying squirrels, they chill out in cavities.
Oh,
What is a cavity, Michelle?
a cavity is not something you want in your mouth,
No.
but you want in a tree,
Yeah.
and it means a hole.
Yeah, a cavity is just a hole, and
Betsy, you have a good question.
oh, so you want to read it, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
I'm gonna read it. Betsy says, "What makes them a flying squirrel?" Because you don't automatically think like a squirrel can fly. It doesn't have wings,
No wings.
but I mean, they kind of fly.
Glide.
Glide, but that's a
Let's
better word.
call it glide.
Glide.
Yeah, and there's actually a local nickname called fairy glider.
A fairy glider.
Not
yeah.
a sugar glider, although people think sugar gliders are fairy gliders. Are
The same thing, but they're not.
No, they're not.
They're much different.
Very different. They look alike. It's so weird.
Yeah. So this animal, as Michelle said earlier, is a rodentia, right?
Yeah, rodentia.
And then if we go kind of back and think about where sugar gliders are from, they're actually from part of the world where we have more marsupials. And so they have this really crazy thing that happened called convergent evolution.
Oh boy.
What? That's a huge word.
That's
Basically
big
means
concept.
that their environment shaped them to look very similar because they occupy the same little niche in their environment. They do the same sort of thing. They look for the same sort of food. Nothing wants to be on the ground where all the predators are. Let's be up in the sky, flying tree to tree.
Yeah.
Gliding tree to tree.
I want to say hello to some of our friends out there. Your mom, Miss Hudson, she's more than your friend. She's my friend. And Kara and Maisie. It's so good to have you with us live here on Facebook. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your little story about gliding.
Yeah, so gliding, a glider, what does a glider do that's different than like a plane which flies? So a glider,
It's always falling.
it's always falling, okay? Planes take off from the ground underneath their own power.
Yeah, not a glider.
And birds take off from the ground. The wolves came to visit. And gliding happens usually from a height or something tows it up into the air. So these guys would find a high point, and for every foot they go up, they can go 3 feet out.
Wow, that's
So that's pretty amazing. to
yeah. So
think
they
about.
climb a 100-foot pole.
Ooh, let's do some
Do
math.
some math.
Oh, we could also like
I'm
talk
gonna
about.
take this out so you can see them better.
Yeah, we can take a little paper out a little bit, yeah. And that flying is at an angle, and you can bounce from tree to tree. So if you go 100 feet up, you could go how many feet out? And you can imagine with a forest with tall trees, you can travel long distances. Their home ranges are fairly small though. They don't need to travel a lot because they're the most amazing type of diet animal. They have this really wide variety of things they eat because they're a omnivore. And so they will eat just about anything. From insects to small vertebrates, all the way down to tiny little seeds, blossoms and buds, new growth and leaves, flower petals, acorns, seeds, nuts. They are very aware of the cycles of their environment. And so what I think is super amazing about squirrels is that in general, squirrels have a really good memory. You can think about a red squirrel or a gray squirrel burying a nut, right? Burying a nut in the ground and being able to find that later on underneath the deep snow when it needs food. Here, the southern flying squirrel doesn't need to store as much food, doesn't need to go find as much food. Instead, they have a calendar in their brain. And the calendar relates to when certain foods are available.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll visit the forest and the certain areas of the forest when that food's available. So it'll know when the locusts are hashing out of the ground and climbing up the trees.
Yeah.
It'll know when the blossoms are blooming out. It'll know when the acorns are perfectly ripe. They'll know all these things. So very in tune to their environment.
Nature intelligence.
Yeah.
So Lucy wants to know, are there signs to look for to indicate flying squirrels in the area? The way I would do it, I would go out and listen.
Yeah.
I would go out at night or crepuscular and the hours right before it gets dark. Dark probably good too.
Yeah.
And sit under a big tree. You can look too for movement because movement is really what you see at night more than anything. So look for things moving in the trees and listen for a loud squeak.
Yeah, they make kind of like a squeaking chirp sound. They really actually like bird feeders a lot too. So if you've got a bird feeder in your yard that mysteriously the food level drops over the nighttime period, a lot of times that's a flying squirrel visiting it.
Yeah. Maureen, their favorite treat? Enrichment. Let's see.
So for enrichment today, for our building flying squirrels, our wolf cabin squirrels, they got some berries and they got some
berries. Blueberries are my favorite.
I just blanked the name. Mealworms. There you go.
Oh.
Mealworms. And so they are insectivores. They're going to eat some insects. So they'll go in and grab those insects, tear open the little holes and cavities like they would go underneath bark and up in trees to grab insects as well.
But they're actually really easy to please, Maureen. You don't even have to give them anything special or fancy. You give them an acorn that you find from a live oak tree outside, and they'll go all after it.
Yeah, and they're very interested in being able to like manipulate things too. And a lot of times that manipulation doesn't happen with the hands, it happens with their mouths. So they're chewing all the time. So even little pieces of chews from bone and wood that we give them is actually really fun for them as well.
And let's talk a little bit about their occurrence.
Their population.
Yeah, like people, like Lucy was asking about, like what are signs you can go. People don't realize it, but this animal is actually really common.
What?
Yeah.
But I don't
Even
like see
in the
them.
cities, in the urban areas.
But I don't like see them.
In downtown Savannah. True story. I was walking with a friend on Bull Street, right down by Forsyth Park, and one fell and landed on their body and ran down their leg.
What?
So they're everywhere, but we don't see them. Do you know why we don't see them like we see the gray squirrels? Guys, we gave you a big hint, a big word. Maisie, do you know why we don't see them when we're out in the day? Why don't we see them? You can tell me. Jonathan Jackson, hello. Tuning in. Give us the word if you know it. Type it in. Why don't you see them? Why do you see them as much as a gray squirrel? Gray squirrels are common.
Oh yeah, gray squirrels all the time. There's like 17 on my walk from the building to the wolf cabin that I saw, but I didn't see a single flying squirrel. You think about those big eyes, big whiskers, and what they might like to do at night, playing tree to tree.
Oh, you just gave it away.
Oh, no, I didn't.
You said at night.
I didn't use the big fancy word that we've been talking about all FOOVentures.
Yep, it's a good word. So this is a really special nocturnal animal.
Nocturnal, that's the word.
Way.
And nocturnal is a really cool word that just basically means they're going to be feeding and active at night. So So that doesn't mean that they won't be out during the day. They might have to move their nest, or they might be responding to a predator, but they are going to be active and feeding at night because they're adapted to that with those big, huge eyes and the whiskers on their face and those nice round ears that can hear really, really, really well.
Seed, so you're chewing on a seed in there. So their names are Skippy and Jiffy. It's a male and a female.
Jiffy and Skippy.
And you can guess why they're named Skippy and Jiffy.
Yeah.
It's their favorites.
Yeah.
So Maureen, it might be Skippy and Jiffy. Peanut butter.
Yeah.
What Kayla says, do they like to play?
I think that
Is that what it said?
that play is,
Yeah.
is an interesting word. You know, play is like using energy just for fun. Play is like, you know, not finding food or anything like that. And if that's like the definition you use, they definitely do play. A lot of flying squirrels actually really love to, in captivity, love to use wheels like hamsters and rats and mice do. A lot of them will actually, you know, play with balls and move around balls and things like that that are not food items. So we definitely think that they play. Whether it's play like tag or hide and seek, like we think of play, is a little bit different.
Yeah, and play that's educational is the best kind of play,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you parents out there, you know, you want your kids to have an educational experience when they're playing. Playing helps you learn. So for them, it's probably going to be like anything that's giving them enrichment in their brain to like find something. So like
Mhm.
hide and seek. That'd
Yeah.
be a good game for them.
Yeah, but the hide and seek would be probably like for a food item.
Yeah. So their play is educational.
We hide the food, they seek it out.
Yeah, Kara, we see that you know the answer. Thank you, Maisie. I'm sure Maisie knew it. Did you see that trick? Amazing. What is that?
No.
Pull it lower.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold it down lower. My shirt. You don't read my Oatland Island reflection there. You don't want to see that.
Ooh, who is their top predator? That's a super good question. So that was Amelia, I think, asking the question. Amelia, we think that their top predator is an animal that can reach them. So you have to think about what animal can reach them at night. So I would say owls are probably up there pretty
Okay,
high,
let's ask
but
our
they can
friends
fly.
watching. Give us some animals that could catch them.
So maybe it's an animal that finds them during the day when they're sleeping. Or maybe it's an animal that finds them at night when after they're done eating. They're big and they're slow because they have got a full belly.
Maybe.
So an animal that would have to be able to get high up into a tree and inside of a cavity. So a bear, right?
A clee climber. A
A-
tree climber.
A tree climber.
A tree
A
climber.
bear probably.
Or a flyer.
A bear?
A bear? Sure.
No.
They climb trees?
Just a black bear is not their top predator.
Not their top predator.
No.
They're not out going there finding all the flying squirrels.
What about
What about a snake?
snakes? Yeah, they can
Yeah.
get inside the cavity.
Those rat snakes. They can climb
Rat
trees.
snakes, yeah.
Really
I
good.
think that their top predator probably is raccoons, though. If
Yeah.
I had to guess. And not necessarily for the adults, because the adults have the ability to escape and go to other cavities and move from tree to tree. And a raccoon can't move as fast, but
Owl.
definitely they're young.
Yep.
Owls for sure. And then if you're in an area that supports a population, definitely wildcats, cats, and then feral cats are a big problem too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I've had cat bring home a flying squirrel and they're not.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Are
true.
they territorial? Yeah, they have really interesting familial groups. So like a family group will kind of have a territory that's theirs, and they'll basically map out that territory, and they'll all be related in that area. And they might even communally nest together in like a family group, but they're not really huge territories, and so you can have pretty high population density, the same number of flying squirrels as you see gray squirrels in your forest, just not see them as much because they're at night. And so if you go out in the forest, listen for them making that squeaking sound, watch for them moving from tree to tree, and if it's really an amazingly dark night, you can do something super, super cool.
What?
You can get your UV flashlight out,
Oh.
and you can search the treetops for glowing pink ghost-like figures flying through the sky.
It's true.
And that's because flying squirrels, fluoresce in the night.
Ah.
They actually glow almost like a bright pink.
Fuchsia.
It's like, fuchsia is a good word for it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really bright pink, and it is common in all the flying squirrel species in North America, and you can see it basically from any population. There will be at least some individuals that have it. So not all specimens or not all individuals fluoresce, but most of them do. And these two guys do because Miss Michelle and I looked at them this morning.
Did it this morning.
And they have.
If you guys want to see it later, we'll show you.
It's a little blotchy. It's not as bright as you might think, but if you can imagine when they're spread open with their big wing flaps, those big skin flaps spread out, you'd be able to see it much better. So we were kind of shying when they're walking around. It's hard to see because it's their belly that glows. It's
well,
the
their
white part
eyes
of their belly.
fluoresced.
And their eyes too.
Yellowish,
yes,
yellow-green.
Yellowish green.
Chartreuse.
Super cool. You got all
all the fancy colors.
All the fancy color names.
Yeah, there's so much we can tell you about these animals. We haven't even talked about how they glide yet.
Oh yeah,
and that's pretty awesome.
So if you are a glider, you want to increase your surface area. So one of my favorite things about flying squirrels is their tail.
Yes,
it's not like
their tail.
It's not like a bushy bristle brush like a tail of a squirrel. It's flat. It's flat. Oh yeah, sorry. I should have said this before. We're getting a confirmation on it's a full spectrum UV light. So full spectrum UV light. So an LED UV light.
Doesn't have to be LED.
It's just better for focus.
Oh, okay.
Focus like the LED flashlights.
AKA a black light.
A black light can work, but a flashlight will just focus a beam for you.
Yeah.
And you can see other glowing things in the forest like lichen and some amphibians will glow too.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to do to shine a UV flashlight up in the cannon.
Back to gliding.
Gliding, surface area. So flat tails. Their tail is flat. It's amazing. And they use this tail like a rudder and a brake, and so they use it to kind of change their direction when they fly. They have amazing skin flaps along their body. They kind of look a little chubby, but that's mostly just kind of hanging loose skin. And when they spread their body wide, Ms. Michelle's going to demonstrate.
So they have a cape, and we call it a patagium.
Patagium, yeah.
And so when they spread out like this, it attaches from their wrist to their ankles, and it makes like a flying Superman suit.
Like a squirrel suit. Squirrel suit, for paragliding and
base jumping.
Jumping.
You guys
and
heard
bungee
about base
jumping.
jumping?
Those guys that do that, it's a design based on flying squirrel.
Flying squirrel suit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's why they call it flying squirrel suit, because it's a design that came from nature.
Yeah, so remember we said that they're actually falling, but they're controlling their fall.
Yeah.
And we said they go up 100 feet, they go out 3 feet for every foot they go up. We never got the answer. Does anybody know how many total feet they could glide? If it's 100
Ooh,
foot
yeah,
pole?
100 foot.
They go up and they glide down.
Yeah.
It's a triangle, right?
Yeah.
You can do a Pythagorean or 3, 4, 5 triangle.
Euclidean.
Yeah, so give us if you know the answer, some of the bigger kids out there might know.
Yeah,
what
they
that
can.
makes.
They can think of this too as a way for them to get from place to place, but they don't want to go all the way to the ground. That would be a scary thing for them to do. They want to go from tree to tree, so much shorter flight probably than their full available distance that they could
Yeah.
travel.
And I've read too that flying squirrels don't just jump blindly, they don't,
Yeah.
they can't see that other tree far away. They learn their neighborhood before they jump. So they, as young squirrels, they're gonna run up and down trees, and they're gonna run across, and they're gonna kind of get their bearings and get their feeling of where they are, and then they'll take over and now I'm not going to the ground anymore. I'm just gonna take a shortcut.
Yeah, they have a forest blueprint, and that blueprint allows them to kind of find their way and know what their waypoints are, which is super cool. So Patty said, asked a question about do they live in colonies or are they more solitary? An adult male might be solitary until they find a mate, but then that mate, the male and the female, can create a familial colony, and they'll live together, and they might have their young for several years, live with them. They are sometimes communal nesters, so if there's a really good tree cavity, you might find 6, 7 flying squirrels inside that cavity, maybe more even.
They'll cuddle.
And now they kind of cuddle up, and especially for our northern flying squirrels and sometimes our western flying squirrels, where it's nice and cold, they need a lot of fluff in there, they need a lot of body heat to stay warm during the winter.
Some of you may have watched our videos from the very beginning. I think maybe Lucy and Bella were watching, and we talked about the wolves, and we talked about the size, and how you go up in latitude, animals get bigger. And then as you go closer to the equator and further south in latitude, animals' body sizes get smaller. So, with that being said, can you guess? Which is bigger, the northern flying squirrel or the southern flying squirrel?
Ooh.
Kind of think about that. Like physically bigger, we measured their body length. Which one would
And
be
their
bigger?
weight, too.
And their weight probably too,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's called, not Bernoulli, I always want to say that. Bergman's rule in nature. Yeah. So, Lily, do they hibernate?
Hibernation is a very specific thing that we use pretty widely in the wrong way as like common. Well, right? This one? This one?
That?
Yeah. Okay, so kind of what happens is we use hibernate as a word for sleep when it's a very specific, very focused type of sleep that very few animals actually do. So like bears and woodchucks are like a few that kind of
Ground squirrel.
like we think they hibernate, but it's not like actually hibernation. More like ground squirrels, certain type of pocket gophers, they'll actually do hibernation. So these guys will probably do a deep sleep where they're slowing things down, but squirrels get away with wintertime by caching food. And so what they do is they cache food, and then they can access that food if they're hungry. So they don't really hibernate. They might go and do deep sleep for a couple days. They might get through a storm that way, but they're not going to go through like basically a hibernation or a deep sleep.
Yeah.
Process.
I've seen them in Vermont in the winter, so they're definitely not full-on hibernators. Lucy, good job. You were there listening to our Bergman's rule. We talked about wolves, and the northern flying squirrel is a bigger squirrel.
Yeah.
However, they'll hybridize it.
Yeah, bigger and probably, that has a little bit to do with those amazing forests too. There was this like
Our forest is amazing.
yeah, they're like tall and wide and big, and ours have been kind of cut down.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. What's really I think cool though is there's stories about like when North America was not quite as populated as it is now, that as a squirrel could move from the east coast all the way to the west coast, which seems crazy to me now. Like you never have to touch the ground, but our forest used to be really, really big.
Dawn, show me that again. Aliana is a really good question. What is a group?
I have no idea.
A group of squirrels.
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if I've ever looked that up.
A cache. Of
Cache?
squirrels.
Um,
We'll Google it. We'll get our Googlers on it.
What about like a chatter?
Oh, that's a good one. We're making them up. Don't
Yeah,
believe us.
yeah, don't believe us. We're just brainstorming.
But we should look that up.
There,
That's a good
a
one.
group of squirrels is called nuts.
An airport
An airport.
of flying
Flying
squirrels.
squirrels. A hangar of
A
flying.
hangar of flying squirrels. Oh,
I don't
we
know.
have some good words.
But they're babies. We know what they're called.
What are they called?
Pups.
Pups.
They have little pups.
Those are pups.
Rodents have pups. Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
called pups.
Ooh,
A scurry.
a scurry.
A dray or
A
scurry.
dray,
Yeah,
scurry.
that's a.
I've heard of a scurry up the tree. Yeah,
Dray.
scurry.
Dray. I'll have to look up the etymology of that.
That's great. Good job, Lucy. Lucy got it. Dude, Lucy, you're budding naturalist here.
I
Thank
think-
you volunteering.
I think my favorite thing about flying squirrels, besides their big eyes that make me like say, oh, so cute, is their whiskers. Like I don't think of like a big like a gray squirrel or black squirrel,
Is that
black
whiskers?
fox squirrels as having like big whiskers, but they have like per their body size they have big wispy whiskers, and that's
Get
really
close so
cool
they can see
adaptation for the night time where they can feel their way. And especially if you have like a prey item that is going to be kind of like wiggly, if it tries to wiggle away or get away from you, you can feel that and you can grab them up. They're always like the most cooperative with wanting to be shown on screen. They turn the tank and they go the other way. How we doing, boys? Boys and girls? My favorite thing though about them is their amazing teeth. I always think about squirrels and how squirrels in general like can get into a hickory nut or walnut. Like a human has to take like a machine to get into it. And humans are strong, like lots stronger than a squirrel. But they don't have sharp teeth, like a little chisel. They can get right into it. It's amazing. Like my teeth would break
bite, and their bite is super sharp, and it
Yeah.
will draw blood.
Yeah.
Those teeth, man.
They have very sharp teeth, and they are very much an animal that needs that work with their teeth. So they need to chew into things. They need to be using it for their food. If they're not, then they have to visit the dentist.
Tell them what we give to chew on.
Oh,
Tell me what it
yeah.
is.
So we give them bones, and we give them different types of antlers to chew on, and that will help them to wear down their teeth. Also gives them available calcium that they can absorb through that process. So that's a good nutrient for them. But if they have to go to the dentist, Dr. Mailer, our veterinarian, will take them in, put them on a little need of anesthesia, open up their mouth and file their teeth and clip their teeth down so that they're nice and tidy. So sometimes they have to go to the dentist because they're not using their mouth as much as they would in the wild, where they aren't like chewing into trees and opening up hickory nuts and things like that. They got an easy life, so they have to visit the dentist.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have about like 5 minutes left. We're going to talk, if you guys are okay with it, we're going to talk about another animal.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the wolf pack here.
Since they're right here.
Since they're here and we're here and they're showing us the
Wolf prime.
summer position. This is summer position. They know the school's out and they're they're in the relaxed mode. Their learning has kind of come to a halt for a little bit. I'm just gonna chill out and chillax. So there's pretty special little family of wolves we have here. We did do a whole program about them, and we probably will do another one another day.
Yeah,
But since we're here and they're so cute, and we know Lucy and Bella love this pack, we wanted to show you. And it is a hot day today, absolutely. How hot do you think it is, Mr. E?
It's probably getting to mid-80s, I would think.
But with humidity, it's a lot hotter today. Early at 9 o'clock, I already felt that oppressive humidity. And people do ask us, and they worry and wonder about our wolves being gray wolves from the Arctic. How do they handle summers in Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's like kind of a weird thought, right? Bring an Arctic animal and bring it down here. Well, these guys have never lived in the Arctic. They have no idea what that's like.
Yeah,
This is all they know.
They spent the first couple weeks of their life, as far north as Ohio?
Indiana?
Indiana, sorry. So that's pretty far north, but
They were inside then.
It was
I think.
inside then.
Yeah.
They really don't know cold the way that other wolves know cold, and so they will grow their winter coat. But as soon as it starts to get warm, they'll start shedding out. And you can actually see some of that coming out of the back of the tuft of the middle black wolf on the, I guess, your guys' left. Actually not sure if it flips it, but the one that's making the most eye contact with his paws crossed in the front, that's our little boy, Oconee. And Oconee is very, very much, that's not Oconee, that's Ogeechee.
That's
Sorry.
Sorry.
Ogeechee is gonna fluff kind of out his back hind quarters. So you can kind of see that fluff that's kind of lighter gray, not so black. That's his undercoat coming out. And we give them help pull that out, give them a little groom time.
Lucy, we do notice a behavior difference. They're really missing people. So anybody that comes by, like if I'm walking the trails, sometimes I walk the trails and check on, the status of everything. They are just on you, like right there. They drop what they're doing, no matter what they're doing, and they have to come investigate because there's people, and they really miss people. So Mystery's going out to just show you what he's talking about. He just walks outside, and they're like, oh, somebody's here. Who is it? We have to go see. Because they are very social, and they have been socialized to people. So, any other behavior changes, Eric, that you've noticed? They're howling a lot more.
I think they have been howling more, and I think that is probably a response to just wanting to be social and wanting to be like, where is everyone?
Yeah.
It also seems like because the noise level at Oatland is lower, I feel like it's been a quieter forest. They hear a lot more of the sounds kind of in the neighborhood. Less car noise from the highway means you can hear sirens from downtown or in Wilmington. Any type of fire siren or ambulance, they'll respond to that with howling too. So that's really interesting that they kind of use it as a trigger for their howling. They'll also get visited by the animal care staff, and they like to howl with them as well too. So kind of anyone that comes to say hi, they say hi back. trying to think of any other behavior changes.
Oh.
They like to do zoomies more. It seems like they will kind of sprint around their habitat a lot.
Zoomies.
At the end of the day, before they come in. I think that's just burning off excitement before they have their dinner.
But in the summertime, we all like a nice cool treat, and so cool treats for a wolf would be like a blood popsicle, or what else do they give them? It's really ice.
They'll put like frozen yogurt, not frozen ice cream yogurt, but yogurt that is frozen, and they'll give them hot dogs. They really like hot dogs. It's a big treat for them. They'll also freeze like fish into blocks of ice and throw it in the pond, so they have to kind of work through the ice to get to the fish, or maybe even frozen chicks in there. Those are a treat for them, something they have to gnaw into. They also really like to carry around things and kind of play keep away from each other. So a lot of times they'll just carry around the blocks of ice and then find a cool spot and lay down and just lick it forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, and Lucy, they do look different. Their summer coats, they're a little scrawnier looking, especially Satilla. She looks real small.
Yeah, and they're also getting lighter too. As a gray wolf ages, they will kind of lose that darker coat and they'll get whiter, and that kind of distinguishes them as an adult in the pack, and they have to kind of take on adult duties. So they're moving out of their puppy years. They're not in their 4s and 5s, or they're not going to be anymore soon, and that will mean that they have to take on the adult role of being the one that finds the food and things like that in the wild, so they don't look like a puppy anymore. I think it's so funny how he crosses his paws.
I love that they cross their legs. So cute. All right, friends, we're really grateful that you joined us today. If you have friends that haven't seen it yet, tell them to watch us on either the Facebook page of Friends of Oatland or YouTube channel, Foo's YouTube channel, just to be clear, or channel 195 from the Comcast channel.
Comcast,
And
SCCPSS
don't
channel.
forget, Foo's gift shop is online. Someone's got a radio on. So go online to our Foo website and look at the gift shop, and you will find out. Hold on, we gotta turn the radio down just a second. Yeah, there we go. You can buy stuff from us and support us, and maybe someone has a birthday coming up. Perfect place. What about shipping? Is it included or not included? It's a small shipping.
Shipping's part of it. Yeah, shipping will be included in the cost.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
It'll be a line item.
Wow, I don't know. Nobody knows here for sure. Mr. E thinks it's included.
I think so.
All right, send us your suggestions for next week. We look forward to seeing you, and until then,
Yeah, stay safe, guys.
stay safe.
Be curious.